Have you ever felt like other people didn't value you because you didn't know how to say what you wanted to say? In a world where people spend too much time judging and comparing each other, it's an art to show your real worth without bragging. Let your silence be so loud. Join me as we talk about how Stoicism can help you powerfully show your self-worth through your actions and daily choices, making you the best version of yourself in all your relationships. This isn't just a talk. It's an invitation for you to become more confident and decisive without saying a word. Let's start this journey together and see how it changes your life. Number 1. Unveiling your true worth. Friends, welcome to a chat that goes deeper than the surface into the core of who we are. Today, we're not just talking about self-love. We're starting a journey to find the treasure of our true worth. Following the timeless advice of Stoicism, would you picture a world where someone's worth isn't based on the opinions of others or the short-lived praise on social media? Imagine yourself as a valuable stone, not just any stone, but one that is one of a kind, rareness and worth. Some people might miss it because they think it's just a pebble, but its value and brilliance will never fade. This, my dear listeners, is a metaphor for your worth. It may not be visible to others, but it's undeniable. In the Stoic tradition, we are taught to base our worth not on the shallow waters of external approval, but on the deep waters of our actions and virtues. What makes us unique is not the praise we get, but the honesty we show in our deeds, the kindness we show to others, and the integrity with which we walk. These are the real signs of value. Let's learn more. Each of us is a mix of different traits. Some can be seen right away, while others are tucked away like gems ready to be found. Think about what makes you unique. Is it your resilience, your empathy, or maybe your unwavering spirit? Recognize these qualities because they are the foundations of your worth. Here's a practical Stoic exercise for when doubt clouds your vision. Ask yourself, which virtues do I embody? This isn't an exercise in vanity, but a moment of reflection to remind you of your worth, regardless of what other people think of you. Marcus Aurelius, a great example of Stoic philosophy, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." If you understand this, you will find strength in the web of relationships. This strength comes from knowing our own worth, regardless of how others see us. Accept that this road of self-discovery is not a goal, but a path we walk every day. Every morning, remind yourself of how valuable you are. Stoicism is the idea that you should see yourself as you really are, not how other people want to see you. This is the key to a life of deep fulfillment and respect. So let us keep this wisdom in our minds and live our lives not in the shadow of other people's opinions, but in the light of our own worth. Number 2, sharing with choices. Today we're going to talk about an idea that might seem a bit old-fashioned at first, but it has deep roots in the lessons of Stoicism, the practice of selective sharing in a time when it's normal to share everything about our lives. Stoicism asks us to stop and think about the value of restraint. This isn't about being hard to get. It's a lesson in self-respect and recognizing the value of our own world. Think about this. The allure of a mystery isn't just a trope from classic novels. It's a basic part of human nature. Have you ever noticed how a rare book feels more valuable, or how the anticipation of waiting makes you feel more valuable? Take this calm approach in the world we live in now. It starts with the presenting. Elegance isn't just a fashion statement, it's a mirror of your inner worth. It's about finding the right balance between being seen and keeping a part of yourself hidden for people who want to know more. Next, let's talk about the money of our time. It takes a lot of time and attention to be selective with your presence in a world where being on all the time is the usual. It's about saying that my time is a test of my beliefs, and I spend it wisely. I give it my all when I'm with people, but I also value my alone time because that's when I grow as a person. And what about my feelings? Stoicism does not support divorce, but the wisdom is to move on, not eliminate all the chaos. Inner peace completely holds the emotional feelings of those situations and individuals. This action is not to become a disconnected emotional person, but rather to maintain these connections by ensuring they are built on the basis of interaction. We do not eliminate it, but we invite a deep and clear relationship with the world. This is a call to value ourselves and teach others to value us as we overcome the challenges of the world. Modern relationships remind us of the power of sharing. The choice is not to stop, but to improve the quality of what we choose to share, and therein lies the choice of lies, the foundation of true values. Thank you for joining me in this thought. Let's all find the balance that allows our true to shine, what the Stoics intended. Sharing is an important part of human contact that helps people connect, understand, and work together. We'll talk about how sharing is important and how the choices we make about sharing can affect us and others in today's lesson. Activity 1. The sharing circle. Gather the people who want to join in a circle. Everyone in the circle says what they are ready to share or give away with someone else. People should be asked to think about how it makes them feel to help others and how it makes the group stronger. Talking about how did it feel to tell other people about something? What changes when you share with other people? Can you remember a time when someone shared something that changed your life? Activity 2. Sharing your choices. Give people situations in which they need to decide whether to share or not. Examples of situations. A. Your friend forgot their lunch and you have a favorite snack. Do you give them your snack or keep it for yourself? B. Each of you is having trouble with a group job. Do you offer to help them, or do you only think about what you need to do? C. You get a present that you already have. You could keep both or give one to someone who would like it. Have people talk about these situations and make choices, taking into account how their choices will affect others. Talking about what made you decide what to do in these situations? How do the choices we make about sharing show what we believe and who we are? What are some good things about sharing that help both you and other people? Share acts of kindness in Activity 3. Give each person a certain amount of time to do a random act of kindness that involves sharing, like lending a book, helping with work, or giving money to a good cause. Ask people to talk about their experiences and thoughts on doing the act of kindness. Talking about how did your act of kindness teach you something? Sharing helped build a sense of community and understanding in what ways? What are some ways we can share and be kind more in our daily lives? Sharing isn't just about giving things away. It's also about making connections, showing understanding, and working together. Making the choice to share not only makes other people's lives better, but it also makes the world more caring and linked. Let's remember how sharing can change our neighborhoods and the people we know. Number 3. Crafting your dignity. It's about how important it is to treat yourself with respect in the web of human relationships. Stoicism, which is often mistaken, isn't a call to hide our feelings or be cold. Instead, it asks us to think carefully about where our energies are best spent. And trust me, the energy you put into being yourself is well spent. Let's talk about what it really means to treat others with respect. Have you ever noticed that when we want someone to like us, we sometimes change who we are? We might adopt a certain style, pretend to be interested in something else, or even change the way we talk. But Stoicism whispers a deep truth. Your worth isn't based on what you wear or where you hang out. It's based on who you are, what you do, and the decisions you make. Imagine two people on a date in a cute coffee shop. One is decked out, making their efforts stand out, while the other is quiet and confident, their true self shining through without saying a word. Which person does this? Real icety has a quiet strength and respect that lasts longer than any fake attempt to impress. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to be honest and respect ourselves. But how does this old wisdom apply to the digital dating dance of today? Simply put, be yourself without shame. Enjoy your quirks, your interests, and your truths. Being authentic isn't about putting on a show. It's about being comfortable and confident in being true to yourself and recognizing your own worth. Also, how others treat you is influenced by how you treat yourself. Constantly criticizing yourself sends a message that it's okay for others to do the same. On the other hand, respecting your time, energy, and emotions sends a clear signal. Great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. I expect the same from you." In partnerships, it rings true. It's not just about how you look or what you say. It's also about how you react and act consistently in all of life's situations. Do you give in when things get tough, or do you stick to your values and keep your cool even when it's tempting to give in? It's not about being perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. It's about how we deal with them. Keeping our respect through life's ups and downs is important, so let's think about how we can start to be more dignified. Setting clear boundaries and saying no to things that don't serve us could be all it takes. Or maybe it's about being a little more kind and respectful to ourselves. By doing these things, we not only improve our own view of ourselves, but we also invite the world to see us in a new way. We make the world not just find our way around it. Let's keep following this somber advice, one respectful step at a time. Building a life based on respect, decency, and honest self-expression. Building your honor means putting self-respect, honesty, and self-worth into every part of your life. It means picking actions, thoughts, and behaviors that are in line with your values and principles, even when other people or pressures are trying to get you to do something different. Here are some important lessons on how to build your dignity. Know your beliefs. Think about what your most important beliefs and principles are. These are the ideas that help you make choices and act in certain ways. Figuring out what's most important to you makes it easier to keep your cool when things get tough. Set limits. To protect your honor and health, set clear limits. When something goes against your ideals or makes you feel bad, learn to say no. Setting boundaries helps you keep your self-respect and lets others know how you want to be treated. Take the time to be kind and compassionate to yourself, especially when you're struggling or failing. Don't be too hard on yourself when you make mistakes. Instead, let yourself learn and grow from them. Self-compassion makes you feel more worthy and gives you more respect. Stand up for yourself. When you're being treated unfairly or wrongly, speak up for yourself in a confident and polite way. Being assertive means being clear about your wants, needs, and limits in a polite but strong way. Being strong and proud of yourself is strengthened when you stand up for yourself. Choose relationships that empower you. Spend time with people who respect and encourage you. Build connections based on trust, respect, and help for each other. Stay away from relationships that are bad for you and make you doubt your worth or respect. Lead by example. Treat other people with respect and honesty when you talk to them. When you deal with people, no matter what their background or position is, be honest, fair, and kind. Setting a good example encourages others to treat themselves with respect and helps build a culture of respect. Practice gratitude. Be thankful for the things, people, and situations that make you feel good about yourself and your life. Being grateful helps you think positively and tells you of all the good things in your life, which boosts your sense of self-worth and dignity. Seek learning and growth. Look for chances to improve yourself and your career. You can feel better about your confidence and self-esteem when you keep learning new things. Stay true to your ideals as you work to become the best person you can be. Forgive others and yourself. Forgiving others and yourself helps you let go of anger and bitterness. When you forgive others and yourself, you let go of the weight of past mistakes and grudges, which lets you move on with grace and honor. Enjoy your success. No matter how small, take a moment to recognize and enjoy what you've done well. Recognizing your accomplishments boosts your confidence and sense of worthiness, which helps you feel very proud of your achievements. Remember that building your dignity is a constant process that needs honesty, bravery, and dedication. You can have more self-respect, ethics, and happiness in your life if you accept these lessons and work to protect your dignity. Number 4, the strength in letting go. Stoicism, a very wise philosophy, teaches us about the art of detachment. This doesn't mean being indifferent or cold-hearted. It means realizing that we have the power to choose, especially when things aren't working out for the best. For example, imagine being at a crossroads in a relationship and knowing deep down that something isn't right. It could be that quiet voice. Sometimes we pause and whisper, "This isn't what I stand for." Is it the fear of being alone, the fear of change, or maybe the hope that things will get better? Stoicism is a strong counterpoint to this. The real strength lies in realizing that we have the power to make a difference. Making the decision to leave isn't about giving up as soon as things start to get hard. True relationships take work, balance, and a lot of patience. Stoicism, on the other hand, helps you see how valuable we are and how to stick to our values. You have to be brave enough to say, "I love myself too much to settle for anything less than what I deserve." This choice doesn't have to be a big deal. More often than not, it's a quiet nod, a gentle but firm awareness that we're ready to face the unknown. Yes, it can be scary to step into the unknown, but Stoicism teaches us to face it with courage and see it as a normal part of our journey. Letting go can change the way we interact with others. It's not about staying because we're afraid to leave. It's about choosing to stay because it fits with who we are. And when we do decide to walk away, we open the door to new beginnings, trusting that better things are on the horizon. Let's keep this in mind. Walking away is not an act of detachment, but a profound declaration of self-love and respect. It's about being true to ourselves, even when it's hard. Remember, you deserve to be in spaces and relationships that recognize and celebrate your worth. Number 5. Boundaries in action. Stoicism teaches us the important lesson that actions speak louder than words. This philosophy becomes especially relevant when we're dealing with the complicated waters of relationships. Saying, "I will not be disrespected," is one thing. Living up to this promise through your actions is another. Real strength doesn't come from the declaration, but from the challenge. When you're disrespected, do you waver or do you stand firm? Following your principles is definitely a tough road, especially when our feelings get in the way of our thinking. But Stoicism is a lighthouse of control. It reminds us that we are in charge of how we react and what we choose to do when someone treats us badly. Imagine a situation where lying will test your commitment to being honest. Your reaction, whether you choose to walk away or talk to the liar directly, says more about how serious you are about your limits than any words could. This method changes how relationships work. People will understand and value you more if you show that you not only set boundaries, but also stick to them. It shows that you respect yourself every day, which goes, what do you do when someone cancels on you at the last minute or treats you like they don't matter? These are small things that happen every day, but they can be chances to set clear limits through calm action and mindful presence. Adopting Stoicism, let's make a promise to be more aware of how our actions show our boundaries. This isn't about being rigid, but about making sure that our actions are in line with our inner moral compass. When we live by this principle, we become examples of self-respect that encourage others to recognize and respect their own boundaries. Let's carry on this Stoic wisdom by making our boundaries clear, not through words, but through the dignity of our actions. Most of the time, boundaries in action means putting personal limits into practice in different areas of life, like relationships, work, and self-care. It is up to each person to set their own boundaries and decide what kind of behavior is okay for them and others. Setting limits is a good way to protect your health, keep relationships healthy, and boost your self-respect. Here are some examples of how borders can be used in various places. Setting limits with friends, family, love partners, and co-workers is part of interpersonal relationships. Some examples are being clear about your wants and expectations, saying no when you need to, and setting consequences for people who break your rules. Work environment. Setting limits on work can be a boundary at work, as can making sure co-workers and bosses behave properly and making sure there is a balance between work and life by setting clear time limits. Setting limits with yourself to make sure you put your physical, social, and mental health first is part of self-care. Setting aside time for hobbies and leisure, taking regular breaks, and not taking on too much are all examples. Digital boundaries. There are limits to how much you can use digital devices and social media. This is especially important now that technology is everywhere. This could mean setting limits on computer time, deciding when and where it's okay to use devices, and taking care of notifications so that they don't keep you from working. Emotional boundaries. To protect your emotions and mental health, you need to be aware of and talk about your feelings. Be clear about what you need and stay away from people or situations that drain your emotional energy all the time. Setting limits in these areas involves being self-aware, being assertive, and talking to others in a consistent way. But it's also important to be adaptable and ready to change rules when things change. When people set and stick to boundaries, they are able to take charge of their lives, make relationships better, and stay healthy. Number 6. Embracing wise caution in loves. Stoicism, a bright light that shows us the way, teaches us to see things as they really are, without any wishful thought. This sight is especially helpful when it comes to dating, where words can charm and looks can fool, may deceive. Imagine meeting someone who seems to have everything you want. They whisper sweet nothings and draw a picture of a perfect future. Now is the time to be tough and make a decision. A short break to think, is this real? The Stoic in the US tells us to take a step back and make sure our hearts are in line with our heads. Not to cast doubt, but to look for truth in deeds, not just promises. This method isn't about being skeptical just because you can. Instead, it's a mindful journey of observation. Pay close attention not only to the words, but also to the actions. Do they fit together well, or is there a note that doesn't sound right? Stoicism doesn't mean avoiding feelings. It just means finding a balance. A balance between what we feel and what we think. This balance lets us see clearly as we travel the waters of love. This thoughtful pause is also a way to protect yourself. It's not about putting up a wall around your heart that can't be broken down. It's about making sure the bridge you build leads to a place worth exploring. It's about getting to know the real person behind the mask they wear. So, as we think about this over our coffee, let's use this Stoic knowledge in our daily lives. Let's move forward with a mix of hope and caution, open to love but aware of how people really are. It's not about being cynical. It's about choosing to let people who truly deserve to come in, not everyone who knocks. Adopting smart caution in love means going into relationships with the right amount of excitement and care. Being open to love and relationship, while also being aware of the risks and problems that could happen, is part of it. Here are some ways to be smart and careful in love. Don't rush. Don't jump into partnerships without thinking. Before making a big decision, take the time to get to know someone. Believe in your gut, trust your gut, and pay attention to what it tells you. If something doesn't seem right or seems too good to be true, step back and look at it again. Openly talk to each other. Being honest and open with each other is important in any relationship. Be ready to talk to your partner about your feelings, worries, and limits. Set bounds. Be aware of your limits and make them clear to others. Setting limits is a good thing to do and is needed to keep a friendship healthy and respectful. Pay attention to actions instead of words. Words can lie, but actions often show what someone really wants. Watch how your partner acts around other people and you in different settings. Take a look at the past. Learn from the relationships you've had in the past. Find any patterns or warning signs that you've seen before and use that information to help you make choices. Get help from people you trust. Talk to family, friends, or a doctor to get a different point of view and direction. Looking at things from a different angle can sometimes give you useful ideas that you hadn't thought of before. Keep your independence. It's good to take care of your relationship, but don't forget who you are and what you're interested in. Keep your freedom and put yourself first. There are times when you should be ready to leave a relationship if it is constantly doing you more harm than good. Instead of staying in a bad relationship, it's better to be single and happy. Love yourself first and foremost. Build up your self-esteem, confidence, and knowledge of yourself. You can handle the complicated parts of relationships more wisely and carefully if you love and value yourself. Number 7. Actions over words. This is important to remember because words are like rivers. True wisdom lies in observing actions, not getting carried away by eloquent speeches or grand declarations of intent. Promises are like stars in the sky. They all shine with potential, but how many of them really light the way forward? The essence of Stoicism tells us to look beyond the surface to tell the real from the fake. It's not magic. Integrity is really shown by how well words and deeds match up. We've all been through the whirlwind of being swept away by someone's words, only to find that the winds don't carry us to the place they said they would be there to support us, only to find that when the moment of truth comes, their presence is as fleeting as a shadow at noon. This difference is a sign, a gentle Stoic reminder too. We should not base our decisions on what we hear, but on what we see people doing. Taking this view changes how we handle our relationships. It's not about being skeptical or putting up walls around our hearts. Instead, it's about interacting with the world and other people from a place of informed trust by focusing on actions. We invite into our lives those who understand that commitment is shown through consistent acts of kindness, respect, and support. As we think about this over our coffee, let's make a promise to value actions over words and build relationships based on reality, where promises are not just spoken, but lived. This isn't about cynicism, it's about choosing to surround ourselves with individuals whose actions speak of their character, integrity, and ultimately their respect for us in the dance of life. Let our steps be guided by the Stoic wisdom of observing, understanding, and valuing actions above all, for, in the end, it is through actions that the true essence of a person is revealed. Number 8. The art of letting go. Today we're going to talk about a deep part of relationships, the art of letting go. Stoicism is based on knowing and accepting what we can control. It offers a freeing view on the dance of connection and detachment in love. For example, if you're in a relationship that starts to drift apart, it's natural to want to bridge that growing gap and try to bring it back together. But Stoicism asks us to stop and think about what really lies within our power, what makes us who we are. Insight takes courage. It's not about repressing our feelings or wants. It's about firmly establishing our own worth. It's a statement that our worth isn't lessened by someone else's inability to see it. I am enough, we tell ourselves, and the people who are meant to be in our lives will understand this. Changing our point of view changes everything. It puts our happiness and peace back in our own hands. Focusing on our own journey to growth and well-being is a deep strength that attracts people who are drawn to our authentic self and our inner confidence and respect. As we end our time together, let's carry this lesson forward. The search for love doesn't have to be a chase. Stoicism teaches us that standing firm in our worth is a virtue, and that the right connections will grow from mutual respect and recognition. Let's enjoy the peace that comes from within, not from outside validation. Number 9. Embracing your no. Today we're going to talk about a powerful part of Stoicism that gives us power in our relationships, the changing power of saying no. Imagine you're in the beginning stages of a new relationship and something comes up that goes against your core values. It's possible that the beat is too fast or that the expectations go against your music ideals. You might want to take the easiest route, but Stoicism calls us to a higher calling. These times really test our strength, not just the ability to handle what life throws at us, but also the guts to stand up for what we believe in. When we say no, we show that we have a lot of self-respect. It also shows that our beliefs are important to us and our dedication to integrity. May raise doubts, suggesting that giving in is safer, but Stoicism teaches us that being true to ourselves is what makes us strong. If standing up for our values means breaking up with someone, it may mean that the relationship wasn't meant to last. This stance changes more than just how other people see us. It also changes how we feel about ourselves. Saying no builds our self-worth and sets limits that protect our health. It's not just about rejecting things that don't serve us. As we think about this over our coffee, it's about reaffirming our right to choose routes that honor. Let's enjoy the power of no. It's not a wall, but a way to connect with people in a more real way. As a somber warning, honesty is the most beautiful thread in the tapestry of relationships. Let's color our relationships with the bright shades of honesty, respect, and real connection, making patterns that show who we really are. Embracing your no is a strong idea that means respecting your limits, priorities, and beliefs. You need to understand that saying no is not a bad thing, but a way to keep your time, energy, and health safe. When you say no, here are some important things to keep in mind. Being self-aware means knowing your boundaries, values, and priorities. It's easier to say no to things that don't fit with your goals or values when you know what's important to you and what you can handle. Setting limits, you need to set boundaries to keep your relationships healthy and to avoid burnout. Whether you're talking to friends, family, or co-workers, learn how to set clear and firm limits. Saying no with grace. It's polite and respectful to turn down requests or invites. You don't have to explain or defend your choice. A simple, true no, thank you is enough. Knowing the power of setting priorities. Saying no lets you put what's most important to you first. You can make room for activities and relationships that bring you joy and fulfillment by saying no to responsibilities that don't help you reach your goals. Accepting the results. Know that telling someone no may sometimes cause them to be disappointed or disagree with you, but in the end, putting your own happiness and honesty first is more important than trying to please everyone else. Taking care of yourself. Saying no also means taking care of your body, mind, and emotions. Spend time doing things that make you feel good and put your general health first. Learning how to delegate. Saying no doesn't always mean turning down jobs completely. Not taking on too much can also mean giving tasks to people who are better at doing them. Learn to delegate chores and trust others to do them when the time is right. When you think about the times you said yes when you should have said no, take some time to think about them. Take what you've learned from these situations and use it to help you make decisions in the future. It's not selfish or closed off to say no. It's about respecting yourself and your limits so you can live a more authentic and satisfying life. As we look at how to apply Stoic principles to modern relationships, we find a deep truth. Stoicism isn't just about dealing with hardships or keeping your feelings in check. It's also about living a life of virtue, honesty, and wisdom, from knowing our worth to embracing the power of saying no. Stoicism gives us a way to navigate the complicated seas of relationships with grace and strength. Each of these principles doesn't lead us to be alone. Instead, they help us make relationships that are deeper and more meaningful. They teach us that real strength comes from being able to stay true to ourselves, to respect our own boundaries, and to interact with others from a place of honesty and respect. Now, I want you to think about how these Stoic principles apply to your own relationships. Which principle do you find hardest to follow, and which do you already do? Share your thoughts, experiences, and insights in the comments section below. If you like this journey through Stoicism and relationships, please like the video and share it with others who might find it useful. Also, please subscribe to our channel for more tips on how to live a happier and wiser life. Your support helps us grow and keep giving our community useful content. Remember that the journey of Stoicism is not one of solitude, but of shared growth and understanding. Let's use the ancients' wisdom to guide us. Thanks for going on this trip with me. Until next time, be smart. Keep in touch with people and let the Stoic ideals guide your way.